Yes, hello everybody. My name is Konbazekos and I'm the president of ACES. Now, ACES stands for the Australian Classical Education Society. Now, in this very short video today, I would like to introduce you to a book called Classical Education, The Movement Sweeping America, that's written by Dr. Jean Edward Weiss and Andrew Kern. So I would like to start with reading the first two paragraphs from this book, and in subsequent videos I hope to share some more from this book and also my commentary and my observations after reading certain passages from this book and many other books in the next couple of weeks and months. So here we go. And forgive me if I speak a bit quickly or show some levels of anxiety. Classical education cultivates wisdom and virtue by nourishing the soul on truth, goodness, and beauty. The ancient Greeks and Romans recognized that free citizens require an education that enlarges the mind and cultivates the soul. So just in those first two sentences, the words that stand out for me, and I'm sure maybe stand out for yourself, are the words truth, goodness, and beauty. The more you read, the more you explore classical education, these words will continue to be heard and always spoken about. Truth, goodness, and beauty, and also virtue. They believe that the cultivation of virtue, knowledge of the world and of human nature, active citizenship, and practical action all demand this purpose-driven education. When Christianity was planted in the soil of the classical world, its adherents found what was good and true in classical thought, purged out the dross, and handed on the rest to their heirs. So from classical education, we went to a classical Christian education. Very important. In recent decades, as the classical renewal in education has matured, we have sought to understand its nature and secrets and to discover its essential ingredients. Now, those of you who know, who may not know, but classical education is huge in America. There are many, many schools, conferences, forums for teachers, parents, homeschooling. It's huge and it's growing. It's flourishing in America. Here in Australia, it's just beginning. I mean, we have ACES, as I said to you a few minutes ago, and we're hoping that slowly, gradually, more and more Australians will discover the truth and beauty of classical education. I must say, dear listeners, that in the last 5 years, they must have been the best 5 years of my life. I've been teaching for 22 years. The last 5 years have probably been the best years of my teaching career. Why? Because I'm discovering, I'm learning, I'm trying to adopt in my own classroom some of the pedagogies that are associated with classical education, and it's making that difference. Now, to conclude the first video, the 4 elements or principles of classical education according to the two authors are a high view of man, logocentrism, responsibility for the Western tradition, and a pedagogy that sustains these commitments. So I will go through each of these 4 elements in subsequent videos. So I'd just like to conclude the first video in saying that I'm convinced that classical education is something that needs to be considered by Australians. We at ACES will continue to bring more information to everyone who wants to know more about it. And the other thing I want to say is that we have to go slow. I also have to remind myself to go slow. This is not easy to understand. This is not easy to understand. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. So as I said, I'm not rushing this journey in classical education. I'm not rushing it at all. I'm reading, I'm asking questions, and I'm talking to others, especially in America. And if any American watches this video, I just want to thank you because I have learnt a lot from our friends in America who are involved in the classical renewal movement. And I'm hoping that one day we here in Australia can say that we too have a strong, vibrant movement. And I believe that the seeds have been sown. We had a conference last year with ACES in conjunction with the Cersei Institute. We have a newsletter, an online newsletter. So we are slowly getting there. Now, if you want to know more about us, you can always just type Australian Classical Education Society, just Google it, and it'll come up. And we have an email, contact@classicaleducation.org.au. I'll repeat, contact@classicaleducation.org.au. So if you want to know more about what I've said in this video, about this book, about anything that has to do with classical education, I will do my best. As I told you earlier, I'm not an expert. I will try to answer any questions or queries that you may have. So, it's lovely to speaking to you for the first time. You will hear me more very, very soon. God bless and take care.